Films, Goes Reviews. You suggest it, I review it, and welcome back to The Road to Christmas. Today we are continuing on this road by taking a look at Jack Frost, starring Michael Keaton.
Once upon a time, in the town of Medford, there lived a man named Jack Frost.
Happy holidays! You guys are great!
Are all musicians really flaky?
Yeah.
He had a beautiful wife and a loving son, but his job kept him away from home.
I bet you this.
You hear harmonicas?
I got that the morning you were born. When you play that, no matter where I am, I can hear it.
Then one night, something happened. Something terrible.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I miss him too. I miss him too.
That turned into something wonderful.
I'm home. Charlie, it's me, it's Dad. What?
So I'm supposed to believe that you're my dad?
You were the one who played on the magic harmonica.
I thought you made that up.
So did I. I don't think so.
Dad, it's the snowman.
Honey. Charlie's run away with the snowman. Really?
What's the snowman look like? 3 bowls, 2 stick arms? Hey, that's my branch! Stocky, well built. Shredding! Oh! Hey, I slimmed down. Whoa! Thanks for giving me a second chance to be your dad.
Warner Brothers is proud to present Michael Keaton
I'm a frozen freak of nature.
and Kelly Preston
Freeze, mister.
She's obviously not talking to me.
in the story of a man who got a second chance to be the world's coolest dad.
As long as you hold someone in your heart, you can never lose them.
Jack Frost.
So Jack Frost was released in 1998, and it stars Michael Keaton as a rock musician named Jack Frost, who has a wife and a son named Charlie. He follows that typical dad in movies, where his work keeps him away from home. One day, he decides to go home to spend Christmas with his family. However, he gets into an accident, which results in him crashing and dying. One day, the day after that, Charlie decides to make a snowman and plays this magical harmonica that his dad gave him, which results in Jack's spirit, I suppose, taking over the snowman. And the rest of the movie is just Charlie and Jack bonding, and of course Charlie having to face the having to be cool with the fact that his dad's now a snowman. So Jack Frost. So I'm just thinking now. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room, or in this case, the bunny in the room. There was another version of Jack Frost that was about a killer snowman, wasn't there? Yes, Bunny, that I for some reason decided to give a Brooklyn accent to. Yes, there was, and in fact, it was released a year earlier. It was released in 1997, and this film was released in 1998, a year later. I already reviewed that film, and I will say this. I did say it was a boring movie, and it was a much weirder film than I remember. I have heard stories that some people actually get confused when they're spending which version of Jack Frost you're buying, whether you might get accidentally tricked into buying the horror version of Jack Frost. In fact, I once heard a story that a snooty video store employee swapped the VHSs around in the cases so that a housewife and mother looked like she was given the family version of Jack Frost, but when she put the VHS in, it was the horror version of Jack Frost. But these are completely different movies. This film is actually really funny, has great spirit, and it has great family. Michael Keaton is really hilarious. Was really good as the main lead, whether he's playing himself or the snowman. Now, a lot of people do complain the snowman is pretty weird looking, but I think that's the idea. The animatronic work is pretty good, and the CGI, yeah, it's not perfect, but you can get away with. But it was in '98 when CGI and live action was starting to lift off. And also, some of the other characters are pretty good too. Charlie is the actor playing Charlie is a really good kid, and he does actually show, and yes, he does show the real pain of having to lose a family member and the joy he feels when he gets a second chance to be with his father. The wife, however, she's also a really good character. Now, she also has a hard time coping with the fact that her husband's dead, and of course, when Charlie tells her that the snowman is their father, she naturally doesn't believe him and thinks that he's just using this as a coping mechanism, which is weird. Now, there are some other characters, like there's this bully who reveals to have some sympathetic side to him, and that's mainly about it. The film has some great scenes. Like, my favorite scene in the film is the snowball fight / sled chase in the film. And there are some pretty lame jokes. Like, there's a joke where he gets shoveled up into a big wall of snow, and his middle falls apart, and he goes, talk about your separation anxiety. Like, yeah, that's obviously a really lame joke. But hey, it's funny. It's a little bit funny. Then he follows up when he puts himself back together, saying, "Boy, I better put myself back together for some rope nights, but this is ridiculous." Now that one's a little lame. Then there's this really funny self-monologue he has while he's walking down the street, saying, like, why is he a snowman? Like, is the name Jack Frost? Because that's not even clever. But besides that, there are some problems. Like, for example, sometimes the puppet work on the snowman can look a little weird, and sometimes the acting can get a little overdone. But besides that, it's not a terrible film. It's actually one of my favorites. But yeah, Jack Frost. Enjoyable film, and I give it about 6.5 snowmen out of 10. Join me next time where we will start the first of 5 Christmas movies. If you can't figure out what they are, well, you'll figure it out. See you then.